So the black purple Luffy did go first, and for one down he does the search event. What does he take? Oh, and
Ooh.
he seeded Spear Leafy.
Yeah, speak of the devil, he just shows up. I guess at least we know missing Beer Luffy is not gonna be the question mark.
Yeah,
Now
that he
maybe Ramper?
also yeah, yeah. So the ramper would be important on the free down turn. Betty also searches with the Betty for the one down and thinks a little bit about it, what he takes, and he takes the free cost Inazuma, the Russia, and just passes, it looks like. Yeah.
I like showing that in Asuma, like knowing that it's there is gonna make Krullzor have to play slightly differently, right? And we do know that we always get some interesting actions, especially if we do some proper setup before. So that's always scary to see on that side.
So yeah, Corso just swings 5 at life and plays for free down the Black Maria. End of turn, he ramps with the Black Maria and does the lead ability. So he gets 1 rested and 1 active back, so he's now on 4.
That's it. We are all set up for Beer Luffy. And Mario is kind of the weaker out of the ramp options you could have there, but still,
Yeah, yeah,
you have 12. As long as you find one of them, you're good.
yeah. And the Belo Betty just taps the 4 for the Inazuma, does lead ability, discard the Inazuma, and plays out the Karazu, and swings 5 to 4. Corso
Yeah.
just 2Ks this.
Yeah, I think it's easy on that one. If you have any 2Ks, you just immediately give it not
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about it at all.
You can't take aggressive life against Betty because
Mm.
she just runs over you.
Yeah, yeah, and even our 7K leader is gonna turn into a 6K leader every time that Karasu attacks, so we need to be a bit careful.
So Corso doesn't do the Spear Luffy at this turn, so it just, I guess he wants to have a little bit of a better setup before he plays him.
Yeah, I I think we probably want to have some board in case we get swung at next turn quite
Yeah,
aggressively, and until on one is on 5, he's not gonna get it plus 2K anyways. So I guess that it does make some sense to just keep developing a bit and continue on searching.
yeah. So we are in Belo Betty's turn now again. She's on 6 down, I think.
Yeah, that's basically it. Now, it's kind of nice that Krullzor was able to also leave one on up for Giant, right? Because since we are on 6 Dawn, even if we have to like delay a turn, the Dawn -2 side of things, right? We still have 6 to be able to be a 7K leader next turn. Means no
Yeah.
more Giants, but still quite decent.
First, only one attaches the 2 down to the Ivankov. So she 7 can use his effect, so he cheats out the Inazuma Russia.
Yep, and now we leader ability all 3 of them for like some
For a big
very
attack.
powerful. Yeah.
This card is 8 cost dragon, I think. It's the ulted.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So 8 to leader with the Karasu, -1 to the leader, I guess. So the leader is on 4.
Yeah. No, this is actually kind of looking like it could be a bunch of 8s and then a huge attack from Ivankov. It's gonna be a 10 swing.
Yeah, not at the moment it's a 10.
We'll have 4 done up, so it would be kind of easy to play around Giant, quote unquote.
And Kurza does to the giant, discards a 9 cost Rush Luffy, takes the 2 down back, draws 2. And he still needs a 1k,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
and discards 2k. Takes the hit from the Inazuma. And
And
also takes the hit from the Ivankov. And
oh,
then
wow.
he also placed the koala -3 on the Zoro, and so the -1 was on the not on the leader, on the Zoro. That's why
Oh,
the 2K was enough, and the giant was enough, and he popped the the 4-cost Zoro with the Kuma.
yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, actually. I was thinking the counter numbers weren't really quite matching. Uh, oh, but that is filthy.
So yeah, Krullzor now plays the 6-cost Luffy, pumps up his leader by 2K.
We're now deciding whether we want giant up or we want to guarantee killing that Karasu, I suppose.
The Karasu and the Ivankov would be important because Ivankov cheats out every turn.
Yeah.
So that's a 7 swing, I guess, to the Karasu. 9K with the weird Luffy buff.
Well, just 7, right?
Yeah,
We.
just 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 to the
To the
Karasu.
Karasu. And we'll see what do we give. Oh my god, 2K, 1K.
And I guess
Yeah.
that's a proxy for the
Yeah,
2K.
that's the Sabo promo, I think. I'm gonna berate Yell a bit at ON1 for still not owning any cuts whatsoever. But yes, that is the Sabo doing the trick.
Back
Okay,
to Betty's turn.
this is scary.
Yeah, it's looks a little bit rough. So no Dawn open for Giant at the moment. Did you notice what he searched with the 1-cost event?
No, I was just changing screens, so I didn't realize maybe someone on chat can help us out if they were paying some attention. But we'll see.
Discards the 3 costs. I don't know his name at the moment.
Oh, that's Morley. It's the
Molly.
unblockable one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
So 8K swing with Karazu, -1 on the leader, so he's a 6K now. Of course, discards the 0-cost event. Now another 8 to lead. Gorza takes this one, no trigger. And I guess now with the Ivankov. Okay, first he swings with the leader 6K. 1K Sanji counter. And these are 6 done, so plus 3K. Yeah, and that's GG with the Ivankov. That's enough, yeah.
Yep. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard game, yeah. So he could pop the Zoro. That was a pretty big play, I guess. And pretty hard because he couldn't defend his life at that moment.
Yeah, I think like everything kind of lined up really nicely for ON1 there. We were able to swing very early with the Inazuma. We were able to get rid of a 6K body, which is not that easy because you do need, yeah, basically both the cards, right? You need the Karasu reducing it and also the Koala. And then we had one more 2K to use to defend that. I guess Krullzor could have been quote unquote a bit more conservative and swung into um, the Karasu for 8 instead of playing the Searcher event. But I think it's fair to kind of count on either no 2K or a breaking hand.
Yeah, I think he hoped that he just has the 2 1Ks because that's what most of what Belo is playing. And maybe his hand was a little bit tricked, so he needed the 2K, but yeah, that was pretty big decision.
Yeah, that was lightning fast. Rene wasn't lying to us when he told us this was a quick game. My. I guess it's Betty just working out as it's supposed to. Hmm.
So now Gorzo can decide if he goes first or second.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he still wants to go first. Or he might. try and go second. I feel like you kind of want to stop the aggression, and your card works a lot nicer going first. But it's true that if you get to go second, your beer Luffy on 7 Dawn actually gets to buff you.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's where the game's at.
So looks like Belo does a mulligan.
Mm-hmm. And Krullzor still thinking about it. I'm taking a look at the deck lists in the meantime, see what we got going there, whether we have something a bit interesting. Um, oh, we have Gangnam Lining on Krullzor's deck list, which would definitely be quite useful in this matchup. Hoping to see some of them this game.
That's the one who pops a 6k body, if I
Yeah,
remember
that.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can basically get rid of everything but Dragon on
Uh,
Betty's deck, which is gonna be quite useful. And the Dome -2 in this deck doesn't really make a difference, so we got that going.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
So Belo does indeed go first, so Corso decided to go second.
Yeah, it might be somewhat about taking away from the curve. I guess Belo has a lot of important four costs that you want to play, right? You have the Ivankovs, you have the Karasus. So like just delaying that a tiny more while you get value yourself is definitely good.
So Corso does play the one cost class, such the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Once again, key cards probably be a Luffy, the Gangnam Lining, and then I guess just 2Ks, kind of giants and zero cost events. Let's see what we go for this time round.
So he finds the lightning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty important one.
Yeah. Okay. So we do know at least um, Karasu or Ivankov are not gonna remain unanswered for a long time.
Does he do something? No. Okay, he passes to the Betty player.
Mm-hmm.
Belo Betty swings 5 to lead. Corso does counter this with the 4 cost Nami blocker and plays the 3 cost Molly.
Okay, that's not terrible for Krullzor. I guess as long as that goes, like Morley is vanilla, pretty much, and we're not seeing a lot of searching or consistency from ON1 either. So like no one cost searchers, no. Oh, he's not running stage, so I guess that explains why no stage as well. But okay, could be worse, I suppose.
So what does Corso now do? He's on 4 down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we still kind of want to ramp if we can. Maybe Sorojuro. And I guess there could be some considerations on whether to swing or not to swing right now.
Yeah, so he decided to swings 5 to life. Betty does take it, no trigger. And yeah, just plays the 4 cost Zoro, searches again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is looking a bit more hopeful this time round.
Does find what he's really looking for. Maybe a beer Luffy.
Definitely be look for card. I think I wouldn't heavily dislike seeing.
Okay,
Oh,
just searches another Zoro.
it's
I think
interesting.
not the target you're searching for, but better than nothing.
No, not really. I also haven't ramped, so we're not gonna have any spurred on the turn after. But still, it's a 6k body.
And here comes the Zeus. Does take the life from the bottom and goes the 4 cost Zoro.
Slightly unfortunate, but It's also bringing Betty itself to dangerous territory.
I mean, does Krullzor play the 6-4 Thresh Luffy? Yeah,
Yeah,
he
three
does.
of them. Mm-hmm.
So that could also be a game plan. He counters the 5 with the 2K Robin.
Yeah, we keep defending, and now it's setup time for ON1. But that Zeus effectively means he doesn't really get to play an Ivankov or a Karasu now. So, well,
So yeah, he
I
plays
guess you
the
can play Karasu,
Karasu blocker.
just not the good one.
Not the good one, yeah. You want to see this one from live.
Yeah, yeah. It's just there to get some combat math be really awkward.
So Krullzor has 6 cards in hand. I think Belo is deciding if she pushes with the lead ability or not. Okay, does decide to not and just pass.
Now he's on 5 down, so Beer Luffy actually would give us some buff in here.
Yeah, so he just plays the Zoro. This time he finds the Beer Luffy. And here comes the lightning, pops the Molly.
Yeah.
Does go down -2, so he gets 1 rested, 1 active.
And now it's the decision on whether I want to swing one more time or not.
I think in this scenario, yeah, he just passes.
Yeah, it's good enough. We can build some board and kind of keep.
Now, where he found the Beer Luffy, he doesn't need to rush the game, so can chill a little bit. And he's still on 4 life, so he's still a lot healthier than last game.
Yeah, we have 7 on 4 on 1 now, so we do get to do some atrocities if we were left over on devices, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, I can see that chat decided to spend 1,000 points on trying to get me to speak German again and failing at it miserably. So I'm not gonna acknowledge it, and I'm
Maybe
gonna
you can
keep
try
on the
it.
game. No, no, no. I get. Okay, let me take a look. I feel like we're a bit low to do a koala play now.
Okay, another Zeus. That's a little bit risky, but guess it looks like that the Belo doesn't have the right cards in hand at the moment.
No, that's not looking great. Okay.
Here's the Vankov. Does lead ability, drops the Kuma. So that's now 7.
7.
If
Yeah.
you want
8.
8k swing. Yeah, Krullzor just takes. And with the Ivankov, we cheat out another Karasu blocker.
Okay. 4 cards in hand. I guess we're on pure Luffy time, and that Karasu might die. But it could also be somewhat brutal to use Prester Sanji. I guess we just prioritize the 7k leader a lot more, so that should be fine. But I don't dislike where the rhythm of this is going for BP. If he's, yeah.
So he swings with the law. That's 4. I think to the Karasu would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
now here comes the Beer Luffy. Buffs the leader to 7.
that's gonna be 7-4.
And 7-4. So the Karasu just dies. And for 1, we do another search event, such as the top 3.
I like the 4k swing. It's kind of a bit silly because I think ON1 kind of needed to let that go anyways, just because
Yeah,
you.
I think it makes sense because you're still pretty safe, and you just want to cut Betty's cards, hand cards. So
Yeah, yeah, it's some really nice and easy swinging, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have countered that one. I feel like if you just let it die on the first time, then Krullzor needs to decide whether to go for life or not, which is scary as well. Um, so
Yeah,
maybe
if he has a 6k rush Luffy in hand, he could have
you might die.
go for the game game next turn. So
Yeah, yeah,
so
that's fair
yeah,
enough.
the ON1 plays the Velopetus Searcher, searches the top 5.
What are we looking for here? Koala is very terrifying when you're on one life, so I don't think that's the search target.
Karasu would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he finds the Karasu.
Mm-hmm. Is that enough?
That will be the question. So he just taps the 8 for the dragon. Okay, gives the 2 down to the Ivankov, and I guess he cheats then with the fact he cheats out the Karasu. Or not. Still thinking.
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate because I guess you would want leader to have those done, but then you really want to cheat the Karasu.
Yeah, and now he cheats out the Karasu.
And we're not using leader ability. That makes some sense.
So that's a 7k swing to lead.
Monkey counter, hopefully. Maybe we're 2k flooded.
He would need a 2k because of
Oh,
the Karasu.
yeah, true. Okay, away
Zero
goes
cost
Surgery.
event. And he takes the attack from Dragon, and
Mm-hmm.
ON1 passes. So Krullzor is now on 10 down, so we could see a rush Luffy, and where he tries just to go for game.
Yeah.
Or a 7 cost Sanji. That works also. Rests the Karasu blocker. He could also go for board, but I don't know. I mean, if he gets the trigger from the last life, it could be a little bit scary, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think still, right? We get
Yeah,
this, and we get 2 swings even with the blocker. We can go 2 9s.
and yeah,
Yeah, that's game.
that's game.
Yeah. Ooh.
Beautiful game. This time ON1 didn't have
Mm.
that good setup.
No. It does feel like if any of them falls a tiny bit behind on the early turns, they're effectively dead on board. Both decks can really punish the other one for just falling a bit behind. Even though it usually feels like Black Purple is more of a mid-range deck, it definitely piles up on the pressure on 4 life leaders. So yeah, that was some beautiful navigating from Krullzor. We are headed to game 3.
This time ON1 can decide if he wants to go first or second.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to know whether ON1 or Krullzor won the die roll as well. That would be interesting to see. Like whether Krullzor already knew that he wanted to go second on this matchup like 100% of the time, or it was more about learning the lesson after seeing the curve on game 1 and just trying to take that away from Betty. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay, mini points for Allen. hmm Okay, so yeah, ON1 won the die roll and took the right decision. So yeah, that's some nice prep, given that I think he just picked up the deck this week, or maybe even this day. Um, given he doesn't own any Sabos to play as showcase. That has some beautiful proxies going on there. That.
They're also in a PRB confirmed, I guess, so we get a reprint for them, at least something, because they're pretty expensive at the moment.
Yeah, they were up to like almost 15 each or something like that. Or pricey. So it's a good reprint. I'm always a bit baffled with how they distribute the promos. I guess now that we know that we're gonna get PRBs relatively often, at least it's good that we always have a second way beyond
Yeah,
getting them on an event pack randomly on regionals or treasure caps that happens twice in a season.
yeah, we're still 3 months or something away from POV, and the price is already dropping a little bit. So
Yeah,
as soon as you heard the news, it's already dropping.
yeah, yeah, 100%. The market does move a lot with the news more than with the availability in the market. We will see a more dramatic drop. I think I still remember like Katakuri being three euros when
Yeah,
PRB
the
came
secret
out.
rares for sure. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay,
So this time it looks like ON1 is happy with his hand. He didn't mulligan, and Krullzor is first this time.
green decks for a red yellow deck is diabolical. Yeah, I guess the sleeve choice is interesting. We'll see.
Does do the
Okay,
search event again and searches the Luffy.
I'm gonna run a quick 2K count on one's deck as well to see how risky or not risky this is. So we're basically on 3 Morleys, 4 Limburgs, 4 Karasus, and 1 Kuma. So 12 triggers. Not bad.
It looks like Betty didn't have the searcher on his 2 turn, so he just passed, and now Krullzor just swung 6, which Betty took, and now he just plays out the 1 cost searcher.
So no ramp this time round, or at least we don't play it. Maybe we find Sorayura now. Ramper one.
I mean, it's also a little
No,
bit risky to play out the Robin because she's also 2k in your deck. And against Betty, I don't know if you want to play out your 2ks if you don't have any left in hand.
that's fair. Also, we are not running the 3 cost Sorayura in this list. I hadn't realized. I'm like, where is he? Where's the ramper that doesn't have a counter? That yeah, he's just not there. So
Yeah, that explains it also, yeah.
both Maria and Robin are 2K, so they're a bit coveted
So
in
yeah,
this matchup.
so he does take the 7k Sanji with the second law and passes.
Yeah, I do like the searchers over there. Like they're not usually an insane amount of pressure, but specifically for the Betty matchup, just attaching a couple of them can swing into quite a bit of the bodies. And given the game plan comes from going down in hand size,
Yeah,
these guys.
definitely. They're good against the Belo searches, for example. Just
Mhm.
swing them down pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah. But even into Inazuma, it's not horrible to just spend 2 Dawn on making opponent discard a card. So we got that.
We do a 7k on lead. Okay, that's interesting. So I think we want to rush him down this time. So and place the 3 cost Robin. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
So Anko, she does the down -1 and can search top 3 for Stroid.
That's it. You get to Dawn -1 and search for Straw Hat again. So it's not bad. And I guess even just as a champ blocker, it's not terrible because these are going to be the times where he's not a 7K leader and Karasu is going to do some additional work if he happens to swing. So now there is some cost to swing in with that Karasu, even if we were to have an Inazuma to pressure up for life and a blocker. It's a good spot. Well, as good as it can be when Betty does Betty things.
Now ON1 is back in his turn. He's on 6 turn.
some 3-3 mapping, which is interesting.
Maybe a Inazuma and maybe a Morley again.
Mm-hmm. Or we go for a 4-cost and just swing 7 with our 5, kind of stopping the need to spend cards on leader ability and keeping some more to defend board.
So starting by attaching the 2 downs to the Ivankov so he can activate his effect.
Kuma would be a strong play right now as well.
Yeah, he could pop the Robin with the Kuma. And here's the Inazuma.
What else are we gonna be playing on 3? Could be a second one.
And another.
Ooh!
That was a good guess.
Yeah, that's scary.
Discard the Karasu blocker for leader effect and buffers the 2 Inazumas and the Karasu. Starts by attacking with the Karasu, so that's 8 to leader and -1 on the leader, so 8 to 4. Takes this one.
6. And that requires 2k, 1k. And it's the smallest hit we're gonna take. Kind of
Or
give counter.
we saw the 0 cost, no, it's a 2k, 1k.
Mm-hmm.
Another 7 to 4. It does take it. And another one also
Oof.
takes it.
This does get to blocking, and I guess the question mark is, are we gonna down minus on this plot?
I mean, you can still do the effect and play out the Luffy next turn.
Yeah, so
And leave
fishing,
one down open for the giant, so
fishing for some counter.
it takes the 7 cost Sanji off of Robin effect.
And now we see how far we can get with that beer.
You could also try to clear the Inazumas and just leave down open, but I think that's a little bit too risky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only case where I swing with those laws is if I can go through a gamma knife. And
So yeah,
white.
he plays the Beer Luffy, gets it on -2, so 1 rested again and 1 active. Swing 7-2, guess the Inazuma.
Karasu maybe.
Yeah, it's a 2k, 1k, so that was to the Karasu. And back to Belo's turn.
That looks like 8 cards in hand. Maybe 7. Oof, last turn was definitely hard on Krullzor. Can we get out of these buy-ins? Or is Betty gonna be stomping now?
So Betty still has 3 cards in hand, so enough to do leader ability and maybe another Inazuma or cheat something out with Ivankov.
Another Karasu.
That would be pretty devastating for Krullzor.
Yeah.
So, okay. Just the lead ability, discards the Koala and buffs the Karasu and the 2 Inazumas. Swings with Karasu first
Okay,
and does
that's it.
-1 to the leader.
It's scary because now we pretty much have to counter everything or we get swung into very, very heavily.
Krullzor does to the giant, discards another B Luffy. So now another 8 to 6. Now we see the zero cost event.
Another 8. 2k, 1k.
1k.
6 ton left. Ready
And
to go. 8, 9.
Ivankov isn't buffed, so
9.
takes this one and 8 to lead. Is that
Oh, it's
enough?
double 8. It's double 8. Oh my god.
Oh my god, 3 giants in hand. That's
And
rough.
that's it. Whew.
Phew.
Yeah, those giants are definitely a bit too much. Wow, that's rough. I'm not even
That's
sure
pretty
that
rough,
ON1 has
yeah.
tested. Like he's completely still for me, but it's just the recording that got kind of stopped there. But yeah, that is brutal. ON1 takes it away from Krullzor with Belo Gaming. Wow, those Inasumas did a lot of work this matchup in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Both games 1 and 3, they pretty much were the protagonists, just allowing for early swings on 6 dawn and putting Krullzor a bit too close to die for comfort. I know.
Yeah,
Still,
the double Inazuma were pretty strong.
mhm. Still really strong gaming from both players. I did like these games quite a bit. They were definitely not long lived. You know, we got through 3 games in 37 minutes, so that's quite interesting. But we're good to go. How did it feel to be on the commentary booth first time?
Really fun. So if you want to have me back anytime,
Yeah, I definitely want it. We will be great to have you around again, either this week or next season. And yeah, anything you want to say to our audience before we move?
thanks for the great support and until next time.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We'll take a bit of a break, and I think we might be back soon with the live game.